Hello everyone, and welcome. So there's been a lot of talk recently about Trails in the Sky finally getting the remake that many people feel it deserves. And originally I was going to come up with all these different topics and bullet points to discuss, but then I was like, you know what? I said something a while ago about wanting to be more community focused. And honestly, I kind of really haven't been doing that as much as I've wanted to. So, I put out the question to everybody on YouTube, where I asked if Trails in the Sky got a remake, what are some improvements or changes that you would like to see? And I actually got a decent amount of comments, 24 comments, all giving me their perspective and what they would like to see in a potential Sky remake. Which, is the Sky remake real? Is it actually happening? I can't definitively say, but I do have a source that has told me that the remakes are in the works and that they will definitely be utilizing Daybreak's current engine, which would mean we would get a fully 3D Liberl, and it would most likely involve the hybrid action turn-based gameplay from the Daybreak series, which honestly, I would kind of prefer it if it was that way, but I am also in the camp that realistically I just want the games available on modern consoles. I don't really care if it's 3D or 2D or if it's the Evo versions or whatever. I just want the Sky games to be released for modern systems so that people can finally play the entire series on their system of choice. Whether it's Switch, PlayStation, it's already on PC, but it probably would come out to PC anyway. Maybe Xbox? I know the Trails games haven't been put on Xbox, but I mean, look at Lost Odyssey. That game has been stuck on the 360 for years now, and people still laud and praise that game as one of the greatest RPGs we've ever gotten. So, Xbox fans do at certain times enjoy JRPGs. Now, would they enjoy a game like Trails? Well, that's the topic I think for another time. But let's get right into the community answers, shall we? Escondi9922 says, add in sections from the side material that ties into the future games, specifically Ring of Judgment. That would actually be pretty awesome if they did that, but that would require more work on their part, because it would be entirely new stuff that they would have to create. But nonetheless, I think that would serve to flesh out the games even more, since it would reduce side content that you have to seek out yourself. Next, my buddy Salt says, no idea. If it does get a remake, I hope the new art is cool though. Well, if we do get a remake, it'll most likely Inami will be doing the art. And, well, I do have some not so fond memories of her art style for certain characters in the Crossbell games. I do really like her current style with the Daybreak cast, especially in Kai. So, I think this time she could pull off some pretty cool art if they do a full-on remake. And I know Salt is playing Sky the Third right now, so hope you keep enjoying it, buddy. Have fun once you reach that door. Carl Warg 2561 says, if they just remade the games in the new engine with proper 3D models, I would honestly be fine with that. But if they're going to change things, I would ask for some balance tweaks, primarily for the first two games, making non-S-craft physical attacks actually worth using, so arts are not clearly superior. Yes, because arts in the Sky games were basically they were so overpowered that they just dwarfed physical attacks. There was almost no reason to use physical attacks unless you were just stubborn and you just liked using the physical attacks. But the arts just outperformed physical attacks so much. especially in FC when most enemies were not immune to certain status elements, and you could just spam those and get easy wins. Yeah, it definitely needs some balance tweaks for sure. And while we're at it, some modern quality of life features like fast travel and the ability to swap party members whenever instead of only at specific locations wouldn't hurt. And if the remake gets released in the West, well, I would hope so. A full English dub with all the returning voice actors would be amazing. Agreed. Having the voice actors come back to reprise their roles. And while I would expect full voice acting, I would definitely expect partial voice acting for, at the very least, most of the main story. Side content and NPCs probably still wouldn't be voiced though. But yeah, fast travel would definitely be something that I would want. Now, in FC, I wouldn't want fast travel in FC because I feel part of the experience of FC is living vicariously through Estelle and Joshua as they go through their journey across Liberl on foot. So I think walking around the country really helps to enhance the overall experience of FC. Whereas in SC, yes, I could definitely see where fast travel would almost eliminate some of the slog and the backtracking that you had to do, especially at later points of the game, for sure. Shellgom5795 says, aside from the status effect BS that drives me nuts, my biggest problem with this game is the combat trigger mechanic. Characters can't attack outside of the turn-based mode. Plus, the turbo mode is a nuisance since I can't really see the enemies coming and I get a battle disadvantage every time the enemy, because your party members would trail behind you and it would just be this conga line that you would constantly be getting hit with enemies just sporadically turning and getting the advantage on you. That was super annoying. Also, having a full English localization would be nice. That being said, I don't think the game needs a remake, I agree. The original graphics used in East 6 still look good to me. There are other games in Falcom's library that need remakes more than the Sky trilogy. For example, East 5, Falcom, where is it? Give us Kevin, please. And maybe even older games, like the Gargoyle trilogy. This would be a great opportunity to get new players in, but to me, this would not be a big deal, and I'm more excited for the new games. True. I definitely would think the remakes would basically be more for newcomers than older fans, but people like me would still buy the games, and probably at least play through some of them, just to see the changes and whatnot. I do wonder how they would handle the localization, if they would just completely retranslate the script from scratch, or if they would just simply buy the rights of the script that Xseed originally translated for the games, because the PC versions are just fine. It's just, the whole licensing shenanigans with Xseed that's really the main issue. JM Porkbob says, I think something in the vein of the Atelier Marie remake would be fine. Give it an updated but still stylized chibi art design. Slap some quality of life, give it voice acting. I think fleshing out the available arts and general combat mechanics will be a good idea. But they have so many later games to draw from that this shouldn't be too hard to do. I do wonder how they would handle the old style of combat, because for lore reasons, you could just slot in the quartz and, you would get that massive scroll wheel of arts that you had access to. I would wonder if they would streamline that a little bit more, or maybe have some kind of, a wheel that would separate the arts into categories to make it a bit easier. Like how it was in Zero, you would scroll, pick arts, but then it would open another category that would just have all of the elements, fire, wind, water, etc, etc. And then you click wind, and it just has all your available wind arts in there. Then you click fire, all your fire arts, etc, and so on and so forth. That's the only way I think they could keep the original style intact while attempting to make it a bit easier and not having to, scroll for days to get all the way to the bottom. Just so you can pick Hell's Gate. uh, and the reason I'm saying it should be this style instead of the modern style is because doing so would be too big of a project, and I don't think Falcom wants to get sidetracked from finishing the actual series. If they do it in a chibi style, they can at least outsource it with heavy oversight. Modern style would pretty much need to be done in-house, be done right. This way they can actually get the whole trilogy out in a more reasonable time frame. Yeah, we don't want a Final Fantasy remake situation where it takes 10 years just to get the whole trilogy out. We would definitely want something like what happened with the Crossbell games, where Zero and Azure came out fairly close to each other. And if they did keep it in the same chibi art style, it would definitely speed up the overall process if they were going to either enhance the visuals, like say some kind of like Octopath Traveler or Star Ocean, the second story R kind of graphical style. Alcatraz von Gola. Some of these names. I wonder if they'll add a scenario where Luve will join the party due to his popularity. That would change some of the story, though. Then again, Trails is not immune to, well, spoilers. I'm not gonna finish the rest of that sentence. And then Demi-Joker brings up a decent point. Maybe at the end of SC's prologue, we could get a divertissement from Luve's perspective that shows what he's been doing around that time, similar to the Joshua sections throughout SC. That would be cool. Or maybe they could add a door in Sky the Third where it has some kind of playable section where you get to play as Luve. Maybe they could even add some of that cut content back, where we get more of info from Weissman regarding his time at the church. We get that fight between Rufina and Luve. That would be really cool. But yes, a playable Luve section would be really hype. Mila's Game Room, shout out to her. She does all kinds of reviews and list type videos on her channel. Feel free to check her out and give her a sub if you enjoy what she does. She says, IMO, Falcom shouldn't even consider remaking Sky until the whole series is done. They could just remake it in whatever style the final Trails games are in. True, if this is going to take away from productivity of the actual main series, then I would want them to wait. But if they do simply just port the games over as they are now, then that really wouldn't take that much resources, right? But if what my source said is true and they are going for the full, 3D Daybreak style of gameplay, where they're remaking everything from the ground up, I mean, who knows, maybe this is something they've been working on in their off time. Just kinda off to the side, had a couple of employees rebuilding the entire map of Liberl, because Liberl isn't that big in the grand scheme of things. So really most of the work would just be remaking the cities in 3D, since they all have a sort of different architectural and just overall aesthetic to them. Darth Zack gets a little trolly. It says he wants a cameo by Reen. Directly referencing, the Northern War shenanigan stuff, where in Chloe's backstory, it says that she met up with Reen Schwarzer when she was at Jedha's Royal Academy. Oh, Reen. He was getting an early start on his harem, even back then. What do you mean, guys? Reen was right there the whole time. You didn't see him? Oh gosh, I'm so glad I can make these videos and immortalize all the funny stuff from the Northern War game. St. Anne 66543 says, just roaming in 3D at those games would be enough, to be honest. Yeah, seeing Liberl in full 3D would be incredible, especially if they're doing it on the most recent engine, which would be Kai, and what we've seen of Kai. Oh boy, just the camera work, the choreography with the fight scenes. Holy crap, we are never gonna get another Fee versus Laura. Oh, we're never gonna get anything as goofy as Cold Steel 1. Oh, that's kind of sad in a way. Oh, but it just means that they're improving. That's great. That's really great. KM11593 Cam115 says, graphical improvements for starters. I like the way the original looks, but if it's a remake, they'll have to change it. And combat improvements. I don't know how they'll do that from a narrative perspective, but that's one thing they have to improve. And of course, full voice acting. It would be funny if the Evo version had more voice acting. Oh yeah, because in the Evo version, didn't they even fully voice the side quests and stuff? Oh, that would be kind of funny. If they do a remake and it has like, less voice acting than a previous remake. Black Eyed Jester says, I don't think they really need one, to be honest. I'd just be happy with some control scheme, quality of life changes for consoles. But if they were to get one, I'd hope they stay faithful to the original. As in, I don't want to see Master Quartz in the Sky games. Yeah, I mean, for lore purposes, I don't think they would bring Master Quartz because, well, the current orbits of that time weren't made for Master Quartz. But yeah, just honestly, just some basic quality of life stuff would be all I would really want. Nikita says, just localize the Evo version so we have field attacks and a better S-brake system. Oh right, because the S-brakes had the really cool artwork in the Evo version. And you can do field attacks in the Evo version? Huh, I didn't know that. Everything else can stay the same, except the music. From what I've been told. I actually kinda like the Evo FC music. But is that a hot take? I don't know. But I do think the original versions in a lot of cases are they just fit the overall areas much better. The games are great as is, yes they are. I think modern gameplay would ruin Sky. Interesting. I loved playing these games how they are right now. Not everything needs a modern touch-up, like Chrono Trigger. SNES version is still the definitive way to play in my eyes, even though I never played it, but SNES all the way. Also Terranigma. Terranigma is amazing. You should play it. I should. I have heard good things about that game. I think I have added it to my list. The boy Nopeup, he's also another content creator. He has a second channel where he does a lot of anime reviews, mostly mecha focused, actually all mecha focused. So yeah, if you're into mecha, feel free to check him out. Make Nightmare Mode playable and allow difficulty changing without save editing. Good point. I know you could retry at a lower difficulty, right? But that was only after you died a couple of times that it would give you that option. But having the ability to swap back and forth between difficulty settings would definitely be nice. Eri Hitsuki says, 3D graphics and updated game engine. Cold Steel 3 to Reverie would be perfect. Add new S-Craft cut-ins, updated user interface, yes, the UI would definitely need to be updated, for sure. It does feel a bit outdated in the originals. Maybe quality of life stuff like, oh, quest markers, yeah, that'd be nice. But it is interesting, we got a nice little mix of people who wouldn't mind the games being in 3D and having the new combat style, and people who just want the games to be the same, as is. Dark Samurai says, gameplay in line with the more recent games, and locking Singa up in the basement so he can't touch the soundtrack. What do you mean? Kingo would be the best thing that would happen to that soundtrack. He could remix all of his Evo versions. Wouldn't that be great? I haven't heard any of them, so I don't know what they sound like, but apparently they're not good. Shinbadan7536 says, honestly, considering that such a project would likely come out on home consoles, the only thing I would ask from a Sky Trilogy remake is full English voice acting. So keeping everything the same, but just having extra voice acting. I can get behind that. Should I ban Dan, guys? Gilbert's had enough of him in my Discord server. Is it time? Should I just ban him?
Yo, Dan, I heard you've been causing trouble in my town.
Oh my.
Time to drop the ban hammer on you and make the Discord a safe place for all my fellow Gilbert lovers. Prepare to die. Wait, I didn't mean to pull that.
Dan says, yo mama's so stupid. JK, keep most of it the same. Maybe it would be cool to restructure the skill system to have some additional skills. Fully voiced cutscenes. Yeah, fully voiced would be the dream. Kieran Ray 5340 says, I just want to see the orbment system preserved, yes please, and not updated with the modern one. I love character building in Sky and Crossbell. because I'm trying to balance the stat boosts with getting enough Sepith for the really juicy arts. Yes, agreed. I feel the way that the Orbman system was in the Sky games, while some might say it's outdated, I think in terms of the lore and the world building and how that whole system is utilized to where it slowly evolves over time with the series, and actually having in-game reasons as to all the various upgrades and stuff that we get, I hope they keep it the same. They better keep it the same. At most, they could, if they do go the 3D route, at most I would like to see like a quick arts function in terms of the field combat, like there is in Kuro 2, where you can set an art to a hotkey and then hold that key down, and during the field combat you can shoot off that specific art. That would be really cool. How do I pronounce this name? I'm just gonna call you Nito. That's your new name. Your name's Nito. Full English voice acting. The Daybreak engine. Ooh, a music toggle between old and new soundtrack. Yes, agreed. Maybe switching between action and turn-based. So yeah, make it have the hybrid system that Daybreak has. Yeah, that would be super fun. Getting to run around as Estelle and just bonking everyone with your big stick. It seems that everybody seems to be in agreement that they want full voice acting. Agent 00 Snake says, I'd say just port the Evo versions to consoles and PC and don't do a remake until they complete the entire story. Switch in the PlayStation, need the Sky Trilogy ASAP. Do agree that we need the Sky games to modern consoles ASAP, but I don't know if I would want the Evo versions to be the versions that new players experience. Like on their own, I know they're fine, right? But I can't help but compare the two. And just in my eyes, the original is the best version. The only thing I like more about the Evo version is just the updated graphics and the more anime art style that they go for with the character portraits and stuff. But the older 90s art style is in a sense superior, mainly because the Evo games don't have nearly as many character portraits and just different animations, and they just don't allow the same emotions to be conveyed through them. Which ones do you guys prefer? Honestly, I prefer the originals. And last but not least, the boy Pelthus. How you doing, buddy? Honestly, not much. Quality of life changes would be greatly appreciated. Some tweaks and balances for the fighting system. IMHO Azure was peak. I agree. That was the peak of the isometric 2D sprite-based style of gameplay. And a graphical update, but please no 3D. So yeah, we do have this mix. We have this nice mix of people who want 3D and people who don't. So it'll be very interesting to see what comes out of Falcom regarding the supposed Sky remake. If they are going to go full 3D like Daybreak and utilize that engine, or if they're going to stick to their roots and just simply possibly do an updated version of the original, just with cleaner graphics and maybe some quality of life changes that the modern games have. But that'll be it for this one. Thank you everybody who commented on this post. This was a lot of fun going through this with you guys. I'll definitely have to think of some other questions and topics, and we can do this again at some other point down the road. But for now, make sure to hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below, tell me your thoughts. And if you think a Sky remake is, well, real or not. Or is it some mysterious boogeyman that the community has constructed? Honestly, I think the Sky games being ported to modern consoles has been a long time coming. It realistically should have happened a long time ago, but, you know, it is what it is. And if you haven't already, or you're new around here, feel free to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all my future videos. And a very special thank you to my current channel members. If anybody's feeling extra generous and they want to support the channel, links are in the description. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for being here and joining me on this one. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.
All right, what's next?